Never in the history of Andhra Pradesh, probably never in the history of this country, probably, we have ever witnessed such a situation where you actually have a situation where if somebody were to visit a temple, people have been barred from visiting temple. These are the notices given to YSRCP cadre, MLAs, corporators, sarpanches, MPTCs, ZPTCs, this kind of cadre. These are the various notices. Coming out from various districts. And you know what these notices say? They say, even though they are in Telugu, I would translate them into English for better understanding. The notices say that the ex-Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy is visiting Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, and that program does not have the approval of the government, and if any Karyakarta participates in this program, cases would be booked on them. That is the gist of these notices. And such kind of notices were given to the YSRCP cadre, MLAs, everybody, corporators, by cops. I know the surprising factor is an ex-chief minister who has visited Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam temple not once but several times before. Even before becoming the chief minister also, during the beginning of my Padayatra and also during the end of my Padayatra after concluding my 3,648 kilometers of my Padayatra before I returned home, I walked all the way onto the top. And Chandrababu Naidu was the chief minister then. Several times in the past we visited Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, even before I became the chief minister. And after I became the chief minister, every year TTD invited me. And on their invitation, I had the opportunity to give clothes to Lord Venkateshwara Swami. Every year. And today, to divert the topic from the deeds that have been committed, from the faults that have been committed by Chandrababu Naidu, they have brought up another topic onto the forefront, barring people from entering the temple. In fact, I'd like to say I like everybody to notice these aspects. I like everybody to see these aspects. What happened during the so-called controversy on laddus? Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam reputation has been lowered by Chandrababu Naidu. The pride of our laddus was diminished by Chandrababu Naidu. He intentionally planted a seed of doubt that the laddus were not good to eat, even though he knew very well that he was lying. I mean, if one were to just see the facts, what took place. See this, the concept of this procurement of material for preparation of laddus or preparation of prasadams is not new. This has been going on for decades. Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam board is a very pristine board. You have people from all walks of life, from different states who are board members. In fact, to get a membership onto the board, you actually have recommendations from central ministers. You have recommendations from the neighboring state chief ministers. Such is the esteemness of this board. Such is the pristine of this board. And these board members work there in a very transparent manner, with the only intent to ensure that whatever they do it for the good of the temple. With that motto in mind, they work. And as far as these tenders are concerned, it's a routine process. Every 6 months, procurement of tender happens. Procurement of these materials to prepare the prasadams or laddus is a routine practice. The government does not get involved. It's an autonomous body. It's the board which takes the decisions. The conditions which are applicable for anybody to be participating in these tenders are also not new. They've been in existence also for decades. The quality of the material, what is asked for, is also been the same for decades. It's a routine process. And during the course of this routine process, which takes place every 6 months, e-tenders have been called for. And based on the e-tenders, people who've quoted L1, people who've quoted the least, people who qualify, people who've participated, people who've quoted the least, automatically gets the tender. And that is approved by the board. This is the normal routine practice. And just not, the process doesn't just stop there. The process is that after they get the tender, it's not just one company alone who once again is going to be participating for the whole of it. The other participants also get 35% of the quota if they were to match the price. So all these people supply ghee and these kind of materials whatsoever are required every 6 months during this course of the tendering process. The process just doesn't stop there. The process is, after they are qualified and given the work order, these people are supposed to supply material, and every tanker that they bring in should be accompanied by NABL approved lab certificates, reiterating the quality of the material that they brought in. It doesn't once again just stop there that they're bringing in a certificate which is approved by NABL. After the tanker reaches TTD, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, accompanied with this certificate. After that, the TTD conducts 3 tests. They conduct 3 tests for every tanker. Even if one test were to fail out of the 3, the material is rejected. The tanker is not permitted to go ahead. Forget about the commodities being used in the preparation of laddus or prasadams. It is not even permitted to enter. It is rejected. This is a robust practice which is in existence for decades. Even during the regime of Chandrababu Naidu also, 14 times during 2014 to 19, 14 to 15 times tankers were rejected and sent back. And during our regime, during 2019 to 24 also, 18 times the tankers were rejected and sent back. In fact, this is something to be boasting about. That such is the robust practice which is in prevalence. That even if somebody were to do some mischief, the tanker is not even permitted to enter the premises. It is rejected even before it goes that far. That is the practice in Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Such is the robustness of the testing practice which is prevalent there. And we should be boasting about such practices. Rather than that, rather than boasting, what did Chandrababu Naidu do? What did this Chief Minister do? I will just play 3 clippings. What happened during the course, one should understand. 10 days have been called. 10 days, the material was supplied. On June 12th, the first material which is reached Tirupati was on June 12th. June 12th, by then Chief Minister, who was the Chief Minister by then? June 4th itself, the results came out. June 12th, it was Chandrababu Naidu's regime which was in prevalent. And the first container, the first tanker came on June 12th. June 12th, 21st, 25th, July 4th, whatever the tankers have come, they all passed through the tests. Good for everybody. They passed through all the 3 tests and then they were permitted to go in. Then again on July 6th and July 12th, 4 more tankers came in which did not pass the test conducted, which did not pass these 3 tests, which were 3 tests conducted on every tanker, and they were rejected. They were not permitted to go inside. While this is the reality of the case, that the material was not even consumed, it was sent back because they have failed the test. What did Chandrababu Naidu do? On July 6th and July 12th, the 4 tankers which came in, which did not pass the test and which were sent back because they did not pass the test. This was reiterated by the Tirupati EO, who is an IAS officer posted by Chandrababu Naidu himself in his regime. And what did he say? See, these reports, which were rejected in 3 tests, which were rejected because they did not pass these 3 tests, were sent to NDDB, Gujarat. This NDDB Gujarat lab also came into the picture for the first time. Usually TTD does not, over the decades, never sent their sample all the way to Gujarat. Usually the samples are sent to CFTRI, which is Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysore. But for some strange reason, first time, NDDB Gujarat was brought into the picture. Fine. On 6th and 12th, when these tankers came and when they were rejected, these samples were once again sent to NDDB. On July 17th, Then July 23rd and 17th, they also received, July 23rd, they also received the results. While the tankers were never permitted to go inside, they were rejected. Now, while this is the reality, that the tankers were not permitted to go in, the tankers were rejected, and a show cause notice was issued to the supplier that these tankers have been rejected and sent back, along with a show cause notice. While this is the reality, what happened during the course? On 23rd July itself, the EO of TTD confirmed this information to the media. I'll just play that tape. The EO on July 23rd itself categorically told very clearly that the samples did not pass the 3 tests. The samples were sent to NDDB, and these tankers were rejected. So that means the government was aware that the tankers have been rejected and the material was not consumed. In spite of this, on September 18th, that is 2 months later, Chandrababu Naidu makes an intentional statement misleading the facts. Now, what does he say? This man, Chandrababu Naidu, knowing very well that the material has been rejected, it did not even enter the premises of the TTD, yet this man carelessly, or rather intentionally, lies, spreads misinformation, says that this material was consumed and it had animal fat in it. Now, what happens after that? After September 18th, September 19th, the so-called confidential report from Gujarat, the NDDB report, the so-called confidential report from NDDB Gujarat is released from Telugu Desam Party office on September 19th. And even in that report, there is a disclaimer which clearly says that this report is not accurate. This report very clearly says that these are the S values, these are the standard values, and these are the deviations. However, these deviations could have taken place because of various factors such as these. That is the disclaimer. And in these disclaimers, they very clearly say that if at all the cow's milk is obtained from an exceptionally high feeding of pure vegetable oils, such as repressed oil, cotton or palm oil, such deviation in S values could take place. If at all a sample is collected from cows suffering from serious underfeeding, also you will see deviations in S values. Also, you would find deviations if this milk is obtained from bovine milk other than cow's milk. And so on and so forth are the disclaimers which clearly say that these reasons could all be a part for the S value deviations. And Chandrababu Naidu, knowing very well, in spite of this report, in spite of these disclaimers, in spite of the fact, knowing very well that this, irrespective of all these things, because this ghee did not pass through the 3 tests, was not even permitted to enter the TTD premises, and it was not consumed. Knowing very well, yet September 18th, he makes a statement intentionally lying, September 19th, his Telugu Desam Party office releases this so-called confidential data, so-called confidential report from Telugu Desam Party's office. Then on September 20th, the TTD EO, once again a government official IAS officer appointed by Chandrababu Naidu himself as TTD EO, once again addresses the press. And what does he say in that press? So the EO very categorically, once again on 20th, says that these tankers were rejected and sent away. And they were not used. And on 22nd, the TTD EO himself also gives a letter, his report, his findings to the state government. This is the TTD EO signature down beneath. And in that report, what does he say? He says few important things. He says he was selected through e-tender, started supplying from 12th June. However, his 2 tankers on 6th July and 2 more tankers on 15th July were found to be of poor quality during physical verification. Accordingly, all the 4 samples were sent to NDDB lab, Anand, Gujarat, confidentially, I repeat this word confidentially for testing its quality. Confidentially. Then he further goes on to say, the adulterated cow ghee tankers supplied by the dairy was returned back and stopped further supplies. And a show cause notice was issued to them. So he once again reiterates his stand, reiterates and says the facts that these 4 tankers were rejected, they were not permitted to go inside, and they were not consumed. And yet, in spite of this, on September 22nd, once again, Chandrababu Naidu goes ahead and once again lies. On September 22nd, he once again reiterates his lies and says that this impure ghee was consumed. Now, a chief minister intentionally deviates from facts, knowing very well that these are the facts, deviates from facts, intentionally lies. And how is it fair? Bringing down the reputation of our temple, bringing down the reputation of Lord Venkateshwara Swami, bringing down the reputation of our prasadams, of our laddu prasadams. Is that permitted? Is that permitted? I ask the so-called BJP party, which actually boasts themselves as representatives of Hindutva, as representatives of Hindu religion. I ask BJP one serious question. If you're sincere, if you're truly representatives of Hinduism, would you support this? A chief minister intentionally lying, bringing down the reputation of Lord Venkateshwara Swami, bringing down the reputation of Venkateshwara Swami's prasadams, intentionally for political gains. If someone, just because they're part of NDA, if they are at liberty to spread these kind of lies, and yet BJP, aware of all these facts, knowing very well that these are the facts, how can the BJP support Such a person as Chandrababu Naidu without sending him to prison. If at all the Hindutva values they hold are dear and near and are sincere. If one intentionally brings down the reputation of the temple, how is it that the BJP is sitting silent? Worse, BJP joins the party bandwagon. BJP leaders from Hyderabad also come down to Tirupati. They once again try to deviate this topic from Laddu Prasadams to my declaration. I seriously ask, all these people I ask, repeatedly these people say, what is my religion? I tell all these people, you want to know my religion? It's not new. Everybody in Andhra Pradesh knows who I am. Everybody in Andhra Pradesh, everybody in this country everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows who my father is. Who is my father? Everybody also knows how many times I've been to Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. My father gave, in every Brahmotsavu, my father was blessed with the opportunity to present clothes to Lord Venkateshwara Swami, to the temple. 5 years in a row he was blessed with that opportunity. Even before I became the Chief Minister, several times I had visited Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Even before I had started my Padayatra, I took Lord Venkateshwara Swami's blessings before I started my Padayatra also. And even after my Padayatra, the conclusion, I had actually walked all the way to the top of the mountain, taken his blessings before my Padayatra could conclude. And later I became the Chief Minister. And 5 years, every Brahmotsavu, I was blessed with the opportunity to present the clothes. Why is it that my religion was not questioned then? Why is it that my declaration was not a question then? I accompanied the Prime Minister. I accompanied all these people. The President. I accompanied the Chief Justices. I accompanied the Prime Minister. Why was it not a question then? I ask one simple question to everybody. In fact, this is the Constitution of India. According to the preamble, India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. This is the Constitution. And I say, what kind of country are we living in? That a person visiting the temple needs to disclose his religion before he is permitted to enter the temple. What kind of secularism is this? What kind of a secular country are we living in? I ask everybody. And if somebody were to ask what my religion is, I once again reiterate to everybody. In between the four walls in my house, I read the Bible. But when I go out of the house, I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am also a Sikh. I practice their religion, I respect their religion. I am an Indian. Someone were to ask what my religion is, humanity is my religion. You want to have a declaration on that? Please go ahead and have that declaration as mine. Humanity is my religion. One should seriously start contemplating as to where they stand on secularism, what this country stands for. If someone like me, who was served as a chief minister, is given these kind of notices, someone like me who's visited Tirupati not once, but at least 10 times before, as a chief minister and before that as well, today for political reasons is being given these kind of notices. Barring somebody from entering the temple. And what about the poor? What about the Dalits? Can they enter these temples? What kind of a message are we sending? What is BJP doing about it? Is this what they stand for? Right in front of their eyes, glaring evidence of Chandrababu Naidu misusing his power, bringing down the reputation of our temple, bringing down the reputation of our prasadams, intentionally lying for political gains. And yet, that person is permitted to go scot-free. BJP does not do anything about it. And yet they say they are representatives of Hindutva. Hindutva stands for humanity. This is the first thing what anybody should understand. I think I rest my case here.